Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
You're at Stonedead for your first time. How does it feel to be here?
It's good. We like it. It's really good vibe. Really like it. We were just saying on the way in here about the one stage thing, weren't we?
Yeah, the sort of one day, one stage sort of. It's got an old school feel to it, but everyone's such a great atmosphere.
Yeah, everyone's been lovely. I mean, we've been doing festivals all summer, and we've been really looking forward to this one. And so far, it certainly does not disappoint. I mean, everyone said it's a great. Who had been our friends and stuff said it's great, and yeah, brilliant. Really good energy everywhere. It's great.
And as you said, I mean, in your career span, you've played a lot of different festivals between the three of you, In Therapy and various other bands. And it's good to know that, you know, in the UK we can still have that one-day festival. People are still going to come to the bands like yourself are going to play, definitely. What's been your best festival experience this year so far?
Quite a few. The one that we did last weekend, Trutnov in Czech Republic, was good because it wasn't what we expected. It's right down in the south near the Polish border. It was mostly metal, rock, a few pop bands, but from the Czech Republic and from maybe Poland. But the promoter was a huge fan, 20,000 people. He's put it on for 25 years, and he had us on headline on the Saturday, and it was in an amphitheatre. And we played loads of club shows in the Czech Republic, but we hadn't been, and it was lovely. It was really great atmosphere, great reception. And we did one in Austria, which was really good, the Picture On Festival, which we played before. It's quite a well-known one. What else have we done this year? Really good.
Romania was good, yeah.
Romania.
We did the Düsseldorf festival we did in Germany. I can't remember the name of it. It was great. It was just kind of like in a town square right down in the town. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a brilliant atmosphere and quite a lot of, I mean, you know, when you look at the audience, it's obvious there's a lot of people who know the band, and then you see the people who maybe don't know the band that well, and I really felt that when it built until the end of it, everyone was going mental, and it was like all ages right across the board, just everyone having a great time, and it's kind of what a festival's about, you know.
Yeah.
People enjoying the music whether they know it's really well or not at all, and kind of just feeding off that energy, and that was a fantastic show. So this summer's been really great. Canal Rock, yeah, Norway.
It was like, speaking about the DIY community, it started off 20 years ago as a bunch of punks that put on all their mates in Horten in Norway, and they built it up between still the same people, but they have Sepultura, Therapy, Gang of Four, Peter Hook and the Light playing now. It's gone from like 1,000 people up to about 7,000 people, but it's all community run. So when you get there, everyone's helping everybody else out. It's a really good atmosphere. From the moment you arrive on site, it's a great atmosphere, and it's all organic. They haven't had any big sponsorships from anyone like that. It's all just doing itself. So that there is like flashes of light in among the festival scene for that.
Yeah, definitely for ourselves doing a lot of the festival circuit this year. There's a lot more the younger bands taking control of their own music and doing that DIY, you know, almost starting up their own labels, their own venues. And I think, you know, those of us who've seen that before, it's quite refreshing, isn't it? It's a welcome change to the corporate machine, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, you're right. I suppose when we started in bands, it was very much and with Therapy, you know, it was very much a DIY thing. You know, you did demos, you made demo cassettes, you post them out, you soaked the stamps, you tape traded, you know, you did whatever to get your music out there around the world, and then
who could have the best tape cover? It used to be, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, they've done a 3-color print. Wow! I don't care what the music's like, but I'm buying one. $5 in an envelope. Yeah, let's go. So you know that was really a really good grounding and a really good education. Neil was saying about some of the DIY spaces and venues that we would have played over the years. In those early days, you learn your craft that way, and then I suppose probably maybe early to mid 90s, you know, guitar music was king. You know, everyone was looking for the new Nirvana, you know, this kind of thing, and it did become quite corporate. You know what I mean? It was very much the underground went through a state of flux where, you know, the majors started signing up a lot of the underground bands, and, you know, for better or for worse, the whole kind of vibe changed in a lot of ways. And then now I think possibly, you know, with the internet and digital recording, digital distribution, and it's a bit more of a level playing field where you don't necessarily need to go and sign to a record company based in London or an agent based in London. You can self-manage, self-book, self-promote, self-record. You can do all these things. Now, obviously that widens the field that everyone has 50 bands on the go, and there's a lot to take in. But I do think kind of the distribution and the way things are done, you can really take control of your own art, which maybe had been taken away from a lot of bands, especially punk, metal and underground bands maybe in the 90s, you know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, and that was a lot of what a lot of bands were saying, was they felt as artists they didn't have that creative control over what they wanted to do, so they sort of sod it, we're just going to do it ourselves. And then we've got that control over that. And I think first and foremost, everyone we always interview, we says you've got to be proud of what you're putting out first before you can expect somebody else to.
That's very true, yeah.
There's definitely, I think, like Marcus said, sort of through the mid-90s, that big change where it became a thing where obviously if you've got a record label who are offering you money, lots of money to go and record an album and blah, 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 the temptation is there. But I'm always a big believer in, you can have someone sat there behind a desk saying, it's almost like that X Factor thing of people judging and saying, well, you should do this, you should do that, you should do the other. Well, as a band, if you just go along with it and go, oh, okay, blindly, yes, okay, we'll do anything. If you don't sell any records, that person will still work at the record label. You'll be dropped. So it's kind of like, and you're the one who's going to look like a dickhead, basically. You've got to believe in what you do. I mean, that's the one thing that the three of us, and you know, when I joined the band, you know, working with the lads, it's that thing of we're very focused on what we do, and we never ever kind of go to a record label and say, what do you want us to do, ever. So I think
I wouldn't expect any of you to.
no. It's an odd way, you know, you kind of it's ridiculous.
Is there a story in there?
No, just very good.
But yeah, it's just I think sometimes some bands kind of lost their way through whatever reason.
Because you've just released your 16th studio album, so obviously you must have seen that landscape change. You know, so much over the last 25, 30 years of how you make those albums, how you're marketing them. Like we were saying, how you get them out to people with the advent of streaming, and having to constantly evolve to not match that, but make sure that your output is the best it can be. Yeah.
Now, I mean, that, how you say about the disposable thing, that's the one thing I always think with the way music is now, is that, you know, singles aren't singles anymore. You're kind of doing video, and you, like social media, you're kind of just advertising rather than someone buying a physical copy and owning it, which is, whether it's a shame, it's just different, you know. But I think your mindset, you've still got to focus on what you're putting out, but your mindset changes. It's more about the concert, people come and see us live. One thing we do with Hardcore Fire, the new album, we did lots of formats, vinyl and CD. So obviously that's something that our fans really do get involved with and enjoy. You know, so they still like the physical thing.
I think Rock, Metal and Alternative has always been a fan of, you know, maybe vinyl, etc. I mean, it had its best sales ever last year for 20 years, vinyl. I still think there's a huge appetite to collect from your favourite bands, and certainly make sure you're buying those formats.
It's making a comeback as well with young. I mean, I have a 23-year-old son, and whenever
You're never old enough.
whenever he was young, he used to go out to my shed out at the back and see CDs and vinyl and just go, why have you got all this tat? Because, you know, it's all on my phone. He would, like, literally. But he went to university and now he buys vinyl. And he really gets it. But, you know, they see that as a music fan, it's something that means something to you.
Definitely. So I know that all three of you at some point in time have had kind of solo side projects, and most recently you've had an album out as well. Is there any plans to do any more of that, or are you just concentrating on therapy for the next 12 months, or do you still like that creative output of having something slightly different to do?
Yeah, well, I've got a thing called Honge, which I did with a friend of mine, two friends actually, and it was just kind of we did a wee album, I think it was 2017, and that was because he'd set up a studio and he wanted to trial the studio type thing, and that went well and that was good fun. And we just done some recording, and that should probably come out either this year or start of next year. But it's good to do, you know. There's downtime, and I like playing bass. You know, I do play bass, and it's not like I'm suddenly singing operatic vocals. Or I've discovered the inner diva or anything. It's distorted bass in a rock band. You know, it's very much in my wheelhouse. So that's been great. I mean, Andy did that Jaw album, which is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think that's, regardless of any genre, it's just a really strong, powerful album. And you've been doing some benefits stuff.
Yeah. Benefits. I've kind of been helping them out, but I think as well as really just kind of just like to be busy. And obviously, our priority is what's going on with the therapy sort of camp. We're very organised. We know what's coming up. We've got the tour for the album and things like that. So if there's any gaps, it's kind of quite easy for us to go, well, we've got 2 weeks at home there. It's quite rare for us to be suddenly, you've got a gig tomorrow night. That's very everything's pre-planned. There's always like an 18-month, 2-year plan really with our manager. So, and in those gaps, for us to do something that's a bit different and keep musical juices flowing.
Try to explain to people as well all the time that you obviously don't like music, that we are working musicians for the last 33 years, and it's like if I've got 2 weeks off, it doesn't mean I don't do it. I mean, I have to play guitar every day. I've got to write songs, for therapy, for the lads have got to write songs to send me. If I'm not doing that, I've got to teach myself new ways to play guitar, to keep my ideas fresh. And that's what, that's me working. So, it might just seem like I'm sitting on the sofa playing along with Captain Beefheart records. I'm actually very busy.
It's only Monday and Tuesday.
This vision of Captain Beefheart sings opera, I'm not going to lie.
I have to make that up.
That's the next.
So we're all looking forward to you playing later. Is there any surprises in the set? What can we expect from you guys tonight? Some new stuff, some old stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Like that. You've got it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a really good slot, an hour long. We're doing festivals all summer. I mean, it's just going to be a really high energy set of all the hits, some new tunes and more. It's going to be great. I mean, with these things, it's easy to overthink it and think, we'll debut a new stage show, or should we bring on an inflatable dragon or something? You know what I mean? And it's not really us. It's just balls out rock and roll show, and that's what's coming.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website, www.therazorsedge.rocks.